Hello everybody, welcome back to Everything Bonsai. This is going to be part 2 of my bench tour. And right now we're starting off with my Trident maple that I had repotted a few episodes ago. And it's going along good. You know, the leaves have came out real good. The leaves they're in good condition. They're not coming out all shriveled up or nothing, so that's good. So this tree looks like it's gonna do good this spring and summer, and it looks like we're gonna get a lot of growth, and that means that this trunk will thicken up and that reverse taper should clean up. You know, I got rid of the branches that were there. You know, there were some branches there that I had to get rid of when I first got it, and now it's doing great. You know, I like the Trident maples. I think they're a real pretty leaf and they're a real pretty bonsai. And I think this is gonna be a awesome bonsai. I got this from an online website. I've done a lot of online bonsai shopping and I haven't been disappointed yet, so far so good. I know some people haven't had the best luck of online bonsais, but so far I've done pretty good. You know, it's still a little seedling. You know, I took off the taproot when I repotted it. I repotted it into some perlite and a peat mixture. So it's doing good. You know, I'm excited for this tree. You know, I'm excited for it to thicken up. I'm gonna let this grow up real tall. And just right now it's just in a growing stage, you know, letting it thick up. And once it does that, we'll start you know, styling and shaping and seeing where this tree leads us. So let's go ahead and move on to the next tree. Okay, so the next trees we got here are some little junipers, little Kishu shimpaku junipers, and they're pretty cool. I got these from bonsai.com and they're real neat. You know, I like them. They're pretty cool little shohin mommy trees. You know, this one's got some cool movement in the trunk. It's gonna be a leaning or a slanting tree because the roots are all to one side. There's a bunch of roots on this side, and on the other side there's not that many roots. So this will be more of a slanting style. This will be more of a informal upright style, and I think they'll be pretty cool little shohin mommy trees. You know, right now I'm letting them grow, and once they grow and thicken up and some of the branches start to harden off, we'll go ahead and do some more structural wiring, and that will be in a video probably later this year. I think later this year we'll be wiring these, but for now they're just gonna grow and thicken up. So that's what I got planned for these trees. So let's go ahead and move on to the next trees. Okay, here we got a little shohin Norway spruce that I had trimmed up and wired a couple months ago before I started making videos. You know, this is something that I did real quick, and you know, I like it, I don't like it. It looks good, not sure. I'm just waiting for it to grow and see what happens. And if I don't like it, I can have this take over as the leader. And what I can do is grow this into a bigger tree. Or if I like the way it's growing, I can keep it a smaller tree. I'm not sure yet. It's got good branches right now. They're kind of in an awkward spot. You know, I would like to have some branches right here, but I don't. I do have this one, so I could put that there. I'm not sure though. We'll have to wait to see if anything does pop out around that area. But for now, this is just gonna grow and see what comes out, if any buds come out of the trunk you know, just that's what you have to do with bonsai sometimes, is just let your plants do what they want to do, and they'll show you something and you can take advantage of that. So for now, that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna wait until it grows and see what I can use. And that's what I got planned for this tree right now. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, here we got a Chinese elm. Now this Chinese elm used to be a S-shaped Chinese elm, and you know, it looked kind of weird, the S shape. I didn't really like it. So what I had did was chop off the S shape, left this part of the trunk, and I'm gonna let this grow and thicken up, let it grow super high so it'll thicken up, and we'll go ahead and do like a let it grow, chop it off, grow a branch, grow another leader, chop it off, grow a branch, grow another leader, and chop it off. I'm gonna do that type of style with this and see what happens. So for now, this is just gonna grow and grow and grow. Then I'll chop that off and I'll have a branch pop out and then a leader come, and we'll keep doing that until it gets up to the way I want it. And that's what I got planned for this Chinese elm. You know, S-shaped trees aren't really, I mean, I like some of them. I'm not gonna say I don't like them, but the way this S-shape was, I didn't really prefer it. So I chopped it off. And now this is my new plan for the tree. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see the journey of this Chinese elm. We'll go ahead and see how long it takes for this to thicken up. And I'm excited. So let's go ahead and move on to the next tree. All right, so we went ahead and we moved out of the rain. It's raining right now, so we're gonna go ahead and finish up the video in some cover. Okay, so here is the next tree. It is another Chinese elm, and there's a video of the repotting in my channel. So the leaves have came out, and the leaves are coming out real good, pushing out a lot of growth, and it looks real healthy. Looks like the repot went real well. The roots have started to grow. The tree is real stable in the pot. The roots have grown into the soil, so that's good. And you know, I'm real excited about this tree. The leader, this is going to be the new leader right here, this one. So in the future, we're going to go ahead and chop it off right here and let this grow as a leader and thicken up. And you know, after we chop this off and this starts to thicken up, we're just going to see where the tree takes us. You know, this is going to be a bigger tree. I'm thinking this tree will probably be about, you know, maybe about this high in the future. So this is another pre-bonsai in a growing stage. And that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to go ahead and let it grow, thicken up. And that's most of my trees right now. You know, they're all in a growing stage. They all have to thicken up, except a couple of them have good trunks on them. But this one is one that needs to thicken up before we think of doing any styling. But there will be a video coming out soon, and we're gonna go ahead and finish that chop. I'm gonna go ahead and chop it down here. We're gonna clean up the chop, make sure it's real smooth, so it'll be a smooth transition, so this can thicken up. And that's gonna be exciting. That'll be a video coming in the future. So let's go ahead and move on to the next tree. All right, so here we got a Jeffrey pine. And this Jeffrey pine is from seed, and I am planning on doing a literati style, and I'm gonna plan on wiring this, and I'm gonna bring it down like that, you know, and I'm gonna go ahead and style this as a literati. So I'm excited for that. And at first I was gonna go ahead and cut it down here and grow it small, but I thought that wouldn't work really good because the needles are pretty long. So for now, my plan with it is to grow it as a literati style, and I think that will come out real good. It used to have a trunk coming up real high right here. Used to have a trunk coming up to here, and I don't know, I just thought that it would look good if I cut it off, and then this would come down, kind of like a boujin, or however you pronounce it, where the branches come down like this. So that's my plan for this tree, and I think it'll work out pretty good. So that's real exciting. There's not much going on right now. Still has to grow. Branches have to pop. There's a couple branches that are popping out. The regular buds are right there. There's a couple buds in there, here and there. There's a bud right there. So that's exciting. So now we'll just wait until those buds come out, and we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and move on to the next tree. Okay, here we got my variegated holly. This is the holly that I repotted a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, and it's coming along good. You know, we got a bud right here. We got a lot of buds on this other side. We got a bud all the way down at the bottom, which I thought was pretty funny. So that bud is coming out right there. There's a couple buds here and there. There's a bud right there. There's a bud right there. That bud. No buds up here, but there is some new growth coming out. And some new growth right there. There's some new growth up here too. There's some new growth in there. So that's good. This tree, the roots are starting to grow. The tree is solid in the pot. And you know, this is an exciting tree. You know, I haven't seen a holly like this as a bonsai before. I haven't seen any videos on YouTube of this kind of holly. And in the upcoming video, we're gonna go ahead and wire this. And we're gonna go ahead and wire it and turn it a little bit like that. And you know, this is an exciting tree because it's an ordinary tree. You don't see these every day in bonsai. And that's what is fun, you know, doing something different. You know, that's what Nigel likes to do. A lot of Nigel's trees are different types of trees, and that's what I'm into, you know, doing something different. So this is gonna be exciting, and we'll go ahead and let this grow throughout the year. We'll do that wiring in a video coming up soon. We'll go ahead and have this trunk thicken up. And yeah, this is gonna be exciting. So we'll go ahead and get on to the next tree now. Here we got a oak tree. I forgot what kind of oak it is. I forgot the species of it. I don't know if you guys can tell me in the comments, but here is the leaf. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot. The leaf is real big, but there are small leaves in here. Like this is a pretty small leaf. And last year I had bought this over the winter, and there was a couple leaves in the pot, and those leaves were real small. They were about this big. So the leaves can get pretty small on these oaks. So, you know, we'll go ahead and get some branches growing, thickening up the trunk. And after that, we'll go ahead and start doing some ramification. And with the ramification, I am pretty sure that these leaves will, you know, reduce in size. And, you know, the trunk is real neat. It's a real cool looking trunk. The bark is real neat. Real pretty bark. There was a lot of trunks down here, and I did cut those trunks off. So those are gonna have to heal over. And we did do a chop up here. We did a chop up there. It was pretty tall. I'm pretty sure the chop was in the repotting video, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. We repotted this. It was about, I don't know, a few weeks ago. So you guys can go ahead and check out that video. Yeah, so this oak is also in a growing stage. We'll go ahead and see what we'll do. Some more updates later on in the summer, and we'll see how this is growing. Okay, so here we got an azalea. that I did a pretty big chop on a little while ago, and I think it was during, right before spring started, and so far these buds have popped out and they're starting to grow, and that's pretty good. I think I'm gonna end up getting rid of this, but I left it because I thought if I cut it off right now the tree would die, so I left some foliage on it, and now this has popped out. And the root base is good on this side. Root base looks good on this side, but on the back side it doesn't look as well. This is the side view, and then this is the back, and the root base doesn't really look, it looks okay, doesn't look bad, but the other side looks great. But the problem is, you ideally want the cut to be in the back of where you want your leader to grow. But the bad thing about this is the back, or where the front should be, the roots aren't all that great. So that's going to be something we're going to have to deal with in future. See, it flares out real nice here. It's got a nice root here, but it doesn't really have that much surface roots right here. Well, the more that I look at it, it could work, yeah. The more that I look at it, it doesn't look that bad. I was so focused on the other side because the other side looked real neat. This side looks pretty good. But now that I think about it, the other side's not that bad. So I think that can work. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that's a pretty good root base? Do you think that would work? I don't think it's that bad. I think it'll work. And then we'll chop that off. And then this can grow, thicken up, so it'll be a nice taper. And I think this azalea will be a real nice bonsai one day. Real exciting. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next tree. Okay, here we got a eastern red cedar. It's a type of juniper. It's kind of like a slanting style, cascade style, semi-cascade, slanting, whatever you want to call it. And we do have a video of this repotting, so you guys can go and check out that video. We went ahead and took it out of a nursery container and put it into a bonsai pot with some bonsai soil. And right now the plant is just thickening up. The trunk is going to thicken up. We're going to go ahead and let a leader grow real tall. And also we're going to have to repot it and change the angle, because I want the angle to be about right there. Kind of leans backwards right now, and I want the angle to be about right there. And I wasn't really paying attention when I did the repot, so we'll have to go ahead and fix that in the next repot. But for now, that's fine. Also, what we could do is we can also wire the tree when the tree gets more stable in the pot. We could also wire the tree to fix that angle. We can also do that, so that could work instead of having to do a repot. This is another exciting tree. This is one of those trees that I'm just trying to have fun with, experiment, see how things come out. I got some good movement in the trunk. Then it comes up right here. Now, it's inspired by Nigel's bird's nest spruce. His bird's nest spruce kind of looks like this. So that's kind of what I'm going for with this little tree. So that's exciting. And we'll go ahead and let this tree grow. And we might do some wiring later on this year. And if I do, I'll make sure to have a video for it. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to the next tree. So this is a little Chinese elm that I had repotted, and there is a video on this repotting. And we wired these branches and we wired the trunk, but the branches ended up dying. So I took the wire off, and these are the only two buds that have came out so far. The branches, I'm pretty sure, are dead. I'm pretty sure this is all dead up here, and I'm pretty sure these 2 branches are also dead. So for now, what it's looking like is that I'm gonna cut this top off. I'm gonna go ahead and use this as the new leader. And you know, that works. It's not that bad. You know, it'll put some taper in it, and I was planning on this being a small tree anyways, so that works with me. We'll just go ahead and use this as the new leader, and it'll give us some taper, and it will also go ahead and let this shoot grow real tall to thicken up this trunk, and also this is going to need to thicken up so it'll have a good even taper. So even though the branches died, I think this is still going to work out, and I think this is still going to end up being a really cool shohin mami Chinese elm. I wanted it to be about this tall, so I think this is going to be a really cool tree in the future, and I'm excited to see what happens this year in the growing. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next tree. Okay, so here we got an American hornbeam. It has just started to leaf out, so that's real cool. This is my first time seeing it with leaves. I had bought it over the winter, and it was a pretty tall tree. It was about this tall, and when the buds had started to pop, I chopped it off and I repotted it. I don't think I have a video on the repotting. I don't think I was making videos at the time. It was just before I started making videos, and this is my first hornbeam, so everything's new to me with the hornbeams. So hopefully it lives. It's doing good so far. I think it survived the repotting. I did have to cut a lot of roots off. The root base was pretty crazy looking. It didn't have that many good roots, but I was able to get it back to a decent root base, and I think the roots are doing good now. The leaves have popped out, so I think everything's gonna be okay, hopefully. But this is another tree just in a growing stage, and we're just gonna let it thicken up, and I'm excited for the future on this tree. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, here we got a Alberta spruce. Now, this spruce used to have a whole bunch of trunks coming out from here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, a real big one. So there was 8 leaders coming out from down here. So I had to take off those 8 leaders, and I left it with 1 leader. And you know, this is a real exciting tree. You know, I love the trunk. The trunk is real pretty, and then it comes into this real long straight, no taper, nothing. So that is something that we are gonna have to work on. We're gonna have to get this growth way down here, and we're gonna have to start working on some more taper, and it's gonna be a hefty job, but I think we can do it, and it's gonna be an exciting project. I can't wait to get some buds popping down here, so it's safe enough to do a trunk chop. And that's what I'm planning on, is doing a trunk chop on this tree. But I want to make sure that there's enough buds down here to do that trunk chop, because if there's not enough buds down here, there's a possibility that the tree will die. I don't think spruces really like having a lot of foliage cut off, so we'll have to wait for that. I think there'll be buds popping out here. I did take off a lot of foliage, so I think later on this spring we'll go ahead and get some, go ahead and get some buds popping out here. But other than that, the trunk is beautiful, and that's why I purchased this tree. You know, it just looked like a little mini Christmas tree. You know, when you see them at the market, at the big box store, they look like a little Christmas tree. That's what this looked like. But I saw the trunk and it looked awesome, and that's why I bought it. But this long straight part is not ideal for bonsai, so we'll go ahead and have to work on that throughout the years, and I think we can do it. Let's go ahead and move on, and we'll get to the next tree. Okay, here we have a Sabine juniper, and this is a pretty cool tree. I like it. I had wired this tree, and I just had these 5 branches, including the back one. I just had these 5 branches wired at first, and this upper part looked exactly like how these branches looked. But I thought to myself, well, I'll go ahead and finish wiring the little branches so I can finish up the apex, and I thought it came out real well. It looks real neat. I think it's got a cool little style going on, and all it needs to do is thicken up. And I need to wire this back branch. I need to wire this back branch in place. Right now it's sticking up. I need to kind of pull it over to this side, about right there. Other than that though, this tree is really it just needs to thicken up, and I need to do some ramification on this part of the tree, and I'm gonna let this little shoot right here go ahead and grow up real thick so it'll thicken up this whole trunk. And I think this is gonna be a awesome tree one day, and Sabine junipers can be real nice bonsai. You can see the new growth coming out right here. There is a video of me repotting this tree, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. The repotting went well. The roots look real good, and this is an exciting tree, and I'm excited for the journey and to see how this tree looks in a few years. Let's go ahead and move on to the next tree now. So this is the kind of weather we're dealing with right now in California. You know, partly cloudy skies on this side, and then a rainstorm on this side. So our weather is real bipolar. You know, last week it was in the 80s, and this week it is raining. So this is what you get in California. Real crazy weather. Okay, so this is the last tree on this episode, and this tree is a olive tree. Now this olive tree has a funny story. This is pretty much what it looked like when I had it wired the first time. Pretty much looked like this, but this is a completely new branch that grew over the last spring. There was 2 branches over here. There was a couple branches on this side. Not sure where they were, but there was a couple branches on this side of the tree, but they broke off during a storm. A branch from the tree above fell onto this tree and broke off the 2 branches that were on this side, and I wasn't too happy. You know, whenever branches break on your bonsai, you know, it's a tragedy. So right now we're just growing out some new branches, and I went ahead and put it in this little nursery container that I cut down in size, and we'll go ahead and be doing some wiring real soon. You know, it's got a pretty cool root base. It's got some nice movement, comes up, you know. Yeah, it's got some nice movement. It's got some nice branch structure. The branches are in some pretty good places. This branch needs to be wired a little bit over here. This branch will probably be wired down. That branch right there will probably take over as the leader. And yeah, I'm excited to wire this tree. You know, I was happy with how it was before, but you know, things happen and you have to start over sometimes in bonsai. This is a good example of, you know, bonsai isn't always easy. You know, sometimes your branches break, you know, sometimes your trees die. You know, it's not always easy going, you know, but you just have to keep going. Don't give up on that tree, and you know, maybe the tree will turn out even better than what it was before. So that's what I'm doing with this, and in my opinion, I think it's going to be even a better tree. Even though it's young, it's got a long ways to go, and I think one day this will be a magnificent olive tree. So really, that's it for this part of the video. There will be a part 3. I do have a few more trees to show you guys, so be on the lookout for part 3. But for now, that is it for this episode of Everything Bonsai. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment if you guys have any questions, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.